Well, hello there, Maggot. So, we've talked about the rules, and now you know what basic safety gear to get when starting out with Airsoft. If not, then that means you haven't paid attention during the last lessons. So, if I were you, I would go watch the recordings of the previous bootcamp lessons. You can find the link in the description down below. Now, for the ones that were smart enough to attend the previous lessons and store that material into their brains and actually did something with that, it's time for the next bootcamp lesson. It's time to get you a gun. But first, give me a 10! I hope you're still able to hold a gun after those 10 pity push-ups. Or do you want to quit already? Well, for those of you that would even consider it, that ain't even an option anymore. You maggots joined this bootcamp to become a true weekend warrior. And my name wouldn't be Coach if I couldn't get you there. So pull yourselves together, take a deep breath, and be ready to learn all you need to know to buy your first Airsoft gun. I'll be watching you. Once again, Coach, thanks for the introduction to our third lesson. So, what's up, brothers? I'm Instinct, and today is not about the gun solely, but also about all the other stuff that comes along with it that we haven't talked about in our previous episodes. But quick, before we learn you about this subject, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button below so we can help you guys out with the correct knowledge regarding these things. And why not? It's free, guys. So, let's first jump into the thing that makes up this very sport, the gun. As mentioned in our previous episode, we recommend you as a starter to begin with an M4/M16 style AAG worth of about €300 on the gun solely. Of course, that €300 is somewhat a bad representation because prices can differ quite a lot from country to country. So, for this, we'll guide you towards a good quality airsoft gun that you can trust by showing you an example and telling you what to look out for. Now, when it comes to getting a gun, you have two options, namely a physical store and an online store. We always recommend you to go to a physical store if it's possible, because then you can get a feeling of the different guns available. Also, the shop workers will gladly help you out with any questions you might have. But this doesn't mean you have to go unprepared. And that's what we're here for today. So, the example we have here is the G&G SRL, which comes around €275 here in Europe. This is the recommended airsoft gun to start with from our partner, Airsoft Doctor. So thanks Doc for the gun and providing people with quality goods, services and information. If you require awesome custom builds and stuff like that, go have a look at them. You can find the link in the description down below. Now, we wanted to show you this example because this AG has a lot of the things we would recommend for a starter ourselves. So this gun is just an ideal example to explain it to you guys. As mentioned in our previous episode, this is indeed a reliable AG system for use in both hot and cold weather environments. And it's an M4 platform that's nearly familiar to every airsofter in the world. So people can easily help you out with any sort of problems that might occur, and exchanging mags won't be a big problem. But besides this, what are the features you best look out for in such an AAG? The first and most obvious feature you need to have is an adjustable hop-up unit to set your maximum range for the different BB weights you might want to use. Now, next, you want to look for the FPS output or joule output. It's important that a gun complies to the FPS or joules allowed for your country and the fields you want to play at. So, you better make sure you know what's allowed by contacting either the shops or look for the field specific rules on the field websites. Now, some guns will be skirmish ready when you buy them, while others might need to downgrade by changing the spring. But most shops will have this option available for you when you get one. In fact, if you look online, it's even possible to find the exact same airsoft gun with different velocity or energy outputs on different websites. So make sure to keep a good eye on that number when ordering one. Another thing you don't immediately see but is neat to have and is getting more common nowadays is a built-in MOSFET. MOSFET stands for Metal Oxide Semiconductor Field Effect Transistor, which protects your AEG's battery and motor against system failures and prevents you from burning out your gun, because that's always a risk when using an electrical machine. Now, most guns will come with 3 fire modes, namely safe, semi and full auto. But most MOSFETs allow you to change these fire modes into, for example, a 3-round burst mode as well. Next, we suggest you to look for a gun that has a barrel length that doesn't go beyond 10 inches or about 25 centimeters. This is especially important so you're not hindered in those tight CQB areas and still maintain a good barrel length to shoot in the outdoors. Above that, we best look for a gun that has some sort of rail system so you can add accessories onto it in the future. If not, you'll whine at some point that you cannot attach anything onto it in case it's needed. Just like my brother once did with his MP5. Please do mind there are different rail systems out there and you have to get the right mounts for the accessories you're planning to use. For example, this gun has a Keymod rail system, while this one has a Picatinny rail system. Next, you also want to look for sling mount points so you can attach some sort of sling onto it in the future. For this, you want to look for mounting points on the back of the receiver, the handguard or the buttstock. Now that we're talking about a buttstock, you best get an airsoft gun with an adjustable one so you can set it to your personal liking. At last, it's also important that the gun has some sort of adjustable iron sights on it. This is because we advise you to not invest in an airsoft optic and you then have at least something to aim with. Now, why not an airsoft optic? Because these are almost never reliable and function poorly in certain light conditions. But you will also see near the end of this video that the simple basic stuff already requires a budget just to get you properly started. Furthermore, an additional tip we can give you is to avoid those full starter gun packs, which mostly contain added batteries, extra magazines and an airsoft optic for quite an irresistible price. But the fact with those is that all the added extras is actually a cover-up for the low quality gun itself. And like just mentioned, those optics are usually crap and might even be worse than when you buy them separately. It's also, in most cases, recommended to buy your batteries separately, since what the factories deliver with it is usually not the best quality. That aside, an airsoft gun will always come with at least one magazine out of the box. This is mostly a high cap magazine and in some cases it's a mid cap magazine. Just so you know, a high cap refers to high capacity magazines, and besides the mid cap or mid capacity magazines, there are also the low cap or real cap magazines. The high caps allow you to pour BBs straight into them, but require you to wind the system with a string or a wheel on the bottom to feed the BBs into your gun. These things allow you to carry big amounts of BBs in one mag, but do rattle when running around with them. A mid and a real cap mag work by the use of a spring, which you need to compress by pushing BBs into them. These take lesser BBs than a high cap, but have the advantage that they don't rattle. When getting mid or low cap magazines, it is recommended to get some sort of speed loader, which will make your life a lot easier. You can already have a speed loader for 10 euros or so. Now, the fact is that as a starter you probably won't have enough ammo with just one high or mid cap magazine. For this, we recommend you to get at least 2 additional mags, which will cost you about 50 euros or so. Now, above these feature recommendations, we've also made a video in the past in which we explain the search method so you can pick the best gun for your specific budget. We will add the link in the description down below. Okay, so now that we have the gun covered, we can go over to the stuff that comes along with it. Let's begin with the ammunition, the BBs. Just to let you new guys know, don't buy crappy BBs or you will internally ruin your fancy new gun, and you also won't shoot very accurate and precise even with a good quality gun. To get yourself the good BBs and know how to test their quality, we've already made a video with all the explanation you need. The video link can again be found below. Now, if it comes down to BBs, we recommend to use 0.20 gram BBs for indoor and 0.25 gram BBs for outdoor usage from Extreme Precision, because they are allowed by our Belgian law and have passed all the quality tests. You can get a bag of these for 14 euros, which will get you 2800 or 3500 rounds depending on the weight you get. Now, 2 of these bags will be enough to get you started. Now, in order to make an AAG actually shoot, you will need a source of power, namely batteries. When it comes to batteries, there are a few things you need to be aware of. Let's start with the type of batteries. The most common ones are the nickel metal hydrate and LiPo batteries. Despite being potentially more dangerous, most people prefer the LiPo batteries over the nickel metal hydrate ones because of their performance. Due to the fact that a LiPo battery can catch fire or even explode when they reach a critical voltage point, it is recommended to get yourself a LiPo bag for safe transportation, storage and charging when using them. A LiPo bag comes around 10 euros or so. But nowadays you also have the option to get the newer lithium-ion batteries, which are more durable and less dangerous, but are a little bit more expensive compared to the other ones. Apart from the type of battery, your battery can also vary in the amount of milliampere hours, which basically comes down to how long you will be able to shoot with it. Another thing you will notice on the batteries is the amount of voltage. This is a factor that will determine your cycle speed of your AEG. Keep in mind that your gearbox needs to be able to work with that voltage amount. This is always shown in the specs of the gun. Remind going lower in voltage is no problem, but going higher can burn out your system. Next, batteries will also show you an amount of C. This is a value that represents how easily a battery discharges its milliamps. This is important when you want fast cycles and trigger responses. Then, you also have the choice between using Tamiya or Dean's connectors. Obviously, you will have to use whatever comes with your gun or have it changed. But the difference is that Dean's connectors have a lower electrical resistance, which will result in a faster system reaction when the trigger is pulled. Besides this, whatever battery you choose, it's always recommended to have at least 2 batteries. This way you will never run out of electricity and you can change your batteries during lunch to avoid critical failures like with the LiPo batteries, for example. Furthermore, when it comes to charging batteries, it's necessary to get a charger with a balancer so you avoid battery failures by charging them. For batteries, we can recommend VB Power. 2 of them will cost you about 40 euros, and as for a reliable charger, we can recommend products which you can get for about 45 euros. But mind, there's a difference in chargers for the use of nickel metal hydrate or LiPo batteries. Next, we'll have it about the transportation of your gun. Now, this depends on country to country, and that's something you'll have to figure out by asking around or searching on the internet for whatever works in your country. In some countries you need to have a case with a lock, and in others you're allowed to start with the box that came with your gun. We're also planning to break down the differences between a gun case and a gun bag in the future. So if you want to know more, well, you know where to find the links. If they are required, a case and a lock would add about 85 euros to the cost, and for the cases personally we use the cases from Nigrini. Now, let's make a recap of all the products we've mentioned and see what budget this gives us. For the PPEs, meaning a pair of glasses, good boots, a mesh mask, a pair of gloves and earplugs, all mentioned in our previous episode, that brings us to a price of about 220 euros. For the gun, 2 bags of BBs, 2 batteries and a reliable charger, a LiPo bag, 2 extra magazines will bring us at a price range of about 450 euros. This brings the total amount up to 670 euros. If you count in for the additional goods, namely 2 mag pouches, a speed loader, a case and a lock, that would add an additional 125 euros. So that would mean a budget requirement of about 800 euros. Yes, we know this is a lot of money to start a sport and not even near to the 200 or 300 euros most guys have in mind to start with. But it's better to make a proper start right from the beginning instead of buying things twice or even more and eventually spending a lot more money. If you don't have this kind of budget right now, we highly recommend you to save up and start your gear as we mentioned in these episodes. You will be much more pleased with the performance of those products and don't end up with a box of all stuff you hit away somewhere in a dark corner like most of us have done. Also mind that most of the stuff we've talked about in this and the previous episodes will be things you will not need to worry about for years and years to come, if properly taken care of. You might not look like a warrior yet or whatever your intentions are, but this kit will get you properly started when it comes to both safety and giving you a chance to face your opponents. And that's why this forms the ideal basis kit to build upon. In fact, after you got all of this stuff, you can build your gear piece by piece, and our videos are here to help you make the right decisions when you're looking for something new. And our quality giveaways might help a few lucky ones of you out there as well. If you are interested, well, go take a look at our giveaways page on ReconBrothers.com and participate there. We'll also put the link down below. So, that aside, it's also necessary to clean your barrel from your gun from time to time. For this, you can simply look at our barrel cleaning video guide, which you can find below in the description. For our next bootcamp episode, we'll go over how you prepare for such a scrim when you have your own stuff. You can also expect some helpful tips as well. That aside, let us know what kind of gun is your personal favorite when it comes to the looks. Is it an M4, an MP5, an AK-47 or something else? Let us know in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe, like and hit the bell button if this video was helpful for you. If you have any suggestions about subjects you want us to cover, please let us know in the comments down below. We thank you for watching and we'll see you next time. Namely 1, a physical store, and 2, an online store. We always... what are the features you best look out for in such an AEG?
AEG.
Now, the fact is that as a starter, you probably won't have enough ammo with just one high cap magazine, and do that more up new when that truck up next. To get yourself the good BBs and Hota...
What?
You can get a bag of these for 14 euros, which will get you... I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. Do you like an M4, an MP5, an AK-47, or anything else? Let us know in the comments down below.